So today I'm going to be sharing with you a common pattern I see when it comes to working out and being stuck for women over 40 who really want to get strong, get healthy, maybe lose a little bit of weight, and really change what they have been doing. Hi friends, and welcome to the Healthy Beyond 40 show. I'm Michele, mama 4 and military wife, and I'm passionate about helping women get healthy from the inside out so they can feel better and live their best life. Do you feel like you're struggling to lose weight and get in shape? If you're ready to develop healthier habits, exercise consistently, and lose weight sustainably, then you're in the right place. I combine my expertise from my doctorate in physical therapy to my experience as a health coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher to bring you actionable steps for a healthy lifestyle. No magic pill here, so lace up those shoes and get moving. So to keep confidentiality, I'm not going to use an exact client story, but I'm going to use this general pattern I see with a lot of people to sort of walk you through what it might look like for you. So usually it starts with someone who is too busy to exercise and they've just completely fallen off. It's typically not because they don't care, because they do care, but everything else is coming first. And there's so much information out there that they're overwhelmed and they're confused about even what to do, right? It's hard to have that motivation to exercise if you're not really sure if what you're doing is the right thing for you. And they're just tired and they honestly don't even know where to start anymore. They know that their body has changed as they've gotten older, but they don't know what to do. And there's so much information out there. Workouts, diets, trends, that it feels easier to do nothing than to pick the wrong thing, right? We're in a time where we're bombarded with information and we just have this information overload, and then we have this information that contradicts each other. And then we have the latest crazes. So we don't even know what to do, and it keeps us stalled and it keeps us stuck. And most of the time, people have tried things. They've tried to do things here or there, or a workout video one week, maybe walk for a few days. Maybe they tried a diet that they couldn't keep up with, but nothing stuck because it wasn't a complete plan and it didn't fit where they were in their life right now. And a lot of times it was probably just too extreme or too much too fast. And so then they feel like a failure. So then why even do this? Why even fail again? And they start to feel like no matter what they do, they're probably never going to get there anyways. So they might as well not do it. But with clients, we don't start big. If someone hasn't been working out, we don't start with a 30-minute workout. If someone hasn't been walking, we don't start with 10,000 steps. We start small. So this is just a generalization, what I might do for someone who hasn't been working out. But again, it's on a case-by-case basis. So we might start with 10-minute workouts, 5 days a week. That's it. Because we want to build consistency. Because not only do we want to move our muscles, we want to have that habit of working out. And to do that, it typically works better with most people to do 5 days a week instead of doing 3 days a week. And we're starting with that 10 minutes, not because they're not capable of doing more, but because we want to build up this habit and we want their body to feel good. We have all worked out or done something that pushed our body a little too hard, and we know what it feels like to be super sore and not want to move and not to work out the next day. And with my clients, we don't do that. We make sure that their body's still going to feel good. It is okay to have some soreness, but we don't want it to stop us. Want to make sure that our workouts fit into real life. A lot of people I work with are busy. How can we make moving our body fit into that? And just doing this, starting off this way, it helps them to rebuild that habit of showing up to themselves without feeling behind and without feeling like they're failing. And when we can start being more confident in ourselves, then we start to change our mindset and our motivation. And our emotions, our thoughts, everything starts to change when we can be successful. So we have to start with something that we know we're going to have success with in the short term and the long term. We're not going to start something that we might be able to buckle down and do for a few weeks, but we can't stick with. That's going to crush our confidence. So on a sort of side note here, but I just really want to hone in this idea of our confidence. One of my kids was taking a really hard, we homeschool, but we do some classes in person. And he was doing this really hard science class. And even I looked at the stuff and I'm like, this is like a lot of information. The class is only once a week, 80 minutes. And she didn't give them study guides. She didn't help narrow down what they needed to know, just like study the whole chapter and memorize it. And a lot of the concepts were really hard. And as he was doing this class over the semester, his confidence, I think, was just getting crushed in himself. He was thinking he couldn't do it, and why even try? And it was sort of starting to flow over into other subjects. So since we homeschool, we have some options. So finally, just a little bit after Christmas break, he went back to 1 or 2 classes. We decided just to pull him out of the class and we'll just finish that science class at home. Because it wasn't worth it for his confidence to keep getting crushed thinking that he's not smart enough when he's really in this like super hard class that is probably like a college level class, like probably even harder than most college level classes for the science course. So since we homeschool, we have that flexibility. So it's the same idea, right? So many of you guys have tried a diet or some program or something and it doesn't really work out, and then it crushes your confidence and you think that you can't do this. So we have to step back. We have to do things in a way that's doable, and we have to rebuild that confidence, rebuild that trust in yourself. Rebuild that you know you can do this. It may not be easy, but you can do it. This is why I love working with clients in my personal training app, because I'm able to customize everything for them and really set things up in a way that is doable for them. And if we set something up and we're finding out it's not working, then we can readjust. We can readjust the workouts, the pace, the way I'm checking in with them or they're checking in with me. They're not guessing what to do. They're not wondering if they're doing enough. They're just able to open the app and follow the plan that was built for them, not built for someone else. These aren't cookie cutter programs. It's built specifically for each person. And then they can start to build that confidence. They can start to see those changes in their body. And just a little side note, if that's you and you know that you need some extra support and you know that if you had an expert working with you, that you would build up your confidence and you would be able to stay consistent and start to put these pieces together, then set up a free call with me. We'll just chat and make sure that it's a fit for you. There's going to be a link in the description for that. All right, so let's continue the story here. So this person is starting with 10-minute workouts 5 days a week. And usually within the first month, they're starting to notice that they're getting stronger, that they're building this habit, that they're having confidence. And this part can vary a little bit person to person, depending what people like. But maybe after a month, they start to add in walks because they know it feels good to move. And maybe they know that they really sit a lot during the day. And they start here maybe just with 10-minute walks. And maybe they have 1 day a week that they do a longer walk. Maybe they go walking with a friend. And they're just slowly building these habits into their life. Their strength is building, their physical strength, and their confidence is growing. And then maybe after a few months, they start to bump a couple of those 10-minute workouts up to maybe 30-minute workouts. Maybe there's a couple days a week that they have a little bit more time. So they're able to do a little bit more strength training or maybe a little bit more yoga. Maybe they notice that they're moving with more ease, that they're getting off the floor easier, they can carry groceries easier. And exercise stops feeling like a punishment, and it really starts feeling like it's supporting their body, and their body is feeling better. And maybe why all this is going on, they started to change some of their habits because they're sort of feeling a little motivated from their workouts. And they're not doing a complete overhaul, a new diet, not everything at once. Maybe they start to swap their high carb breakfast into something that is more higher in protein and has a good amount of fiber so that they can get off that blood sugar roller coaster, and then they sort of naturally eat just a little bit better the rest of the day too without even thinking about it. Right? Because if we start our morning with a high carb breakfast and we get on that blood sugar roller coaster, we're more likely to eat junk the rest of the day. So suddenly they're not crashing mid-morning or feeling out of control around food. And it started with one small change. And that's when they start to realize making these small habit changes really works. That they don't need the latest trend that's out there. They really need a plan to meet them where they are and to support and adjust their life. And they've also learned through this process that they're going to have some days or some weeks where they didn't do what they wanted to. But they're no longer self-sabotaging themselves anymore. That they're able to quickly just get back to their plan and get back to what they're doing. And that is a huge thing I see with a lot of people. And then when they work with me, those gaps of getting back on their plan get shorter and shorter. Like they would used to, maybe they went to a tournament for their kids' games and didn't eat well. And normally they would just like let that spiral the whole next week. Maybe they would skip workouts, like it doesn't even matter. But instead, maybe they went to that tournament and still didn't eat well. But maybe they send me a message and we talk and they just get right back to what they were on Monday. And they get rid of the guilt and the shame. And that's why they're actually able to see some success now. And they know that it's not going to be perfect, right? If losing weight or getting fit was easy, we would all be there. I wouldn't have this podcast. But we're real humans with real lives, with real emotions and thoughts, and it can be messy sometimes. And that's okay. We just have to know how to keep moving forward and not shame ourselves. And we have to keep choosing us and what is good for our body. So they needed a plan that met them where they were and really supported them as life changed. And then as they go through different seasons, they know that we might adjust their plan. They might need something else. They might need to push a little bit harder. Maybe they need to back off for a month. Maybe life gets busy and we need to adjust. Maybe it's summer and we know vacations are coming and we need to adjust. But there's no more starting over. There's no more all or nothing. They're flexible. They're able to adjust their workouts, their eating, their habits, their mindset. And they're moving towards their goals. And they're able to do this not just for the short term, but for the long term. So I'm going to end here with a couple questions to just make you think and reflect on yourself. Where are you overwhelmed and stuck because there's just too much information? What would starting smaller actually look like for you? If consistency mattered more than intensity, what would you change? What is a one habit that would make everything easier for you? So I encourage you to keep moving forward. And if you're mulling over some of these questions and some of these thoughts and you don't have a plan in place, then set up that free call with me. Let's figure this out together. It can make such a difference when we finally get that help and support we need. Even for me today, I am part of a group coaching program for homeschool moms. And we talk about homeschool stuff, but mom life, marriage, parenting, any of the stuff that comes up. And in this program, they have group coaching calls, and I got on. And that same kid I was talking about with the science program that was really struggling, I was able to talk about him today and talk about what can I do to help build his confidence. How can I change my thoughts about seeing him not enjoy some things at school? And it made such a difference to be able to get some outside help and support and not feel stuck in that. And that's really just like a small thing. But it's so helpful when we have someone that we can reach out to when we're feeling a little stuck. Because they can ask us good questions. They can see stuff we can't see. They might have a good idea for us. And then we're free of that burden. And then we can move forward more confidently. All right, friends. So make sure you guys check the description for any links, and keep on moving.